guys, and welcome to Xbox On.
God, pull yourself together. But guys, this week on Xbox On, we thought we'd take a look at some of the hardest deaths to take in video games. But because we're Xbox On,
World's hardest achievements. Bereavements.
Oh God.
oh my God, here's a list. Halo Reach is filled with death, with the entire Noble team dying throughout the game, which you're fully aware is going to happen from the beginning as you see the cracked Spartan helmet. George is the first to go, with him sacrificing himself as the bomb has to be detonated manually to destroy the Covenant ship. The next to die is Kat, or Noble 2, as they're running to take cover in a bunker from a nuclear blast as she gets killed by a Covenant sniper in the head. Noble 1, or Carter, then sacrifices his life to help what's left of Noble Team to escort Cortana to the Pillar of Autumn by crashing his Pelican into the Scarab that had them pinned. Emil is the next to be killed by a Sangali Zealot by being stabbed through the back with an energy sword. Then it's Noble 6, the Spartan you play as, and it just shows how tough Spartans are by how he just keeps on fighting against waves and waves of Covenant until he's finally brought down. Bye bye, Noble Team. Bye bye.
After a somewhat bumpy start, Achilles Davenport finally takes Assassin's Creed 3's Connor under his wing when they both fight off some bad British bandits, one of whom has a very dodgy accent.
Can't say we didn't warn ya.
Mate, where the hell are you from? Achilles teaches Connor about the assassins, skills, weaponry, and all he's learnt of the Templars, including showing Connor a to-kill list in his secret assassin basement. You know, if he wasn't an actual assassin, that would just be really weird. He's perhaps a little grumpy at times, but honestly, he's my favourite character and the most well-rounded one. So when I came back to the Davenport homestead one day to find him slumped in his chair with a note in his hand, nope, just nope. Then I had to organise his funeral. Oh God, he was like a father figure. I mean, Achilles was the one character that made Connor interesting. The worst part about it was that you had to go tell the priest about it and dig the grave yourself, all whilst the last written words of Achilles were narrated in his lovely soft voice. Nope, can't.
This was one of those deaths in video games that genuinely hit me, but also slightly annoyed me, and that is when Ares is killed by Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII. Partially because as a kid I completely didn't see it coming, but found everything quite moving with the music kicking in and seeing the holy materia bounce into the water. But you know the worst thing about her dying is the amount of time I spent leveling her up. Like, I was all for Cloud, Barret and Ares as she had some awesome limit breaks, but then she went and died on me, so I was just like, that was a complete waste of time. You selfish.
When we first meet John Marston, he's had a pretty hard time of it. After a life of crime, he tries to redeem himself and start a life with his wife and family, only to have them stolen away from him just so some shifty government guys can make him do their dirty work. Guy just can't catch a break. He comes up against so many enemies and some of the local wildlife, but John manages to take them all down and finally gets to move onto that little farm with his family. It's a lovely little farm, idyllic, until the government guys come back to attack him and his family so as not to have any loose ends. This is hands down the worst death I've had to deal with in gaming. It's one that's always mentioned when I talk about character deaths with gaming friends. Yes, and these are actual conversations I've had with my friends. He goes down fighting, letting you use Deadeye one last time before being shot to pieces by some pieces of, well, I can't say that, but they are. I think it's doubly worse as afterwards Abigail and Jack ride like hell back to save him, only to find him left there alone. In fact, I have two saves of this game, one where John dies and my main save where he's fine and he lives forever. Forever.
Now, if you've played the Modern Warfare series, you'll know who Soap McTavish is, as you play as him in the first 2 games. However, in Modern Warfare 3, he meets his end in the mission Blood Brothers. The building that him and Yuri are giving Captain Price cover from gets blown up by Makarov, where you then carry Soap through the level until he dies, with Price trying to save him, but not before he drops the bombshell with his last words. For me, the hardest thing about his death is the clear relationship between Captain Price and Soap, and how much it affects Captain Price. As they've been through so much together, the music makes the whole situation so much harder to take.
How far would you go to find your mum if she went missing? Pretty far? Well, after their plane crashed and Amelia Croft got sucked into a portal to an unknown realm, her daughter Lara decided to dedicate her life to archaeology to go on a quest to find her, even after her father died years later. At the end of Tomb Raider Legend, Lara found that Amanda, another person that she thought had died years ago, was the reason her mother got sucked through the portal, and it's fair to say that Lara is slightly peed off about that. But there is hope, as Amanda reveals that Amelia is not dead, but has just gone to the paradise of Avalon, which is not a myth as thought. However, don't celebrate too soon. In Underworld, Lara runs and swims around the world, only to find that Avalon is actually Helheim, aka the Norse underworld, and finds her mother, whose body is nothing but a husk. So Lara has to both come to terms with her mother's death and shoot her several times off a ledge. Oh, and as you try to deal with that, Natla reveals that it was all orchestrated by her. Like, come on, I know you're evil, but yeesh, at least let us mourn.
The death of Maria Santiago in Gears of War 2, who is Dom's wife, is quite shocking, as she had been captured by the Locust and stored in a cage, which Marcus and Dom managed to find. But the real shock is when Jack opens it up and Dom sees Maria and she looks healthy and alive, which is because Dom is blinded by love. However, as the camera pans around, her real appearance is unveiled as she's become like a ghoul, as all she is skin and bone. We then witness Dom having a small minor breakdown before he has to shoot her in the head to end her suffering, which makes it the second saddest moment in the Gears of War franchise.
At the end of Arkham Asylum, we see the Joker looking slightly worse for wear as the Titan he injected himself with wears off. You know, when he became that terrifying Titan Joker. Oh god. However, in Arkham City, we find out that Titan is slowly killing him, and now he needs bats to find him the cure. After many twists and turns, including the Joker infecting Batman with his blood and Clayface being revealed as a fake Joker, the cure is lost because the Joker jumps on Batman, making him drop it. But Batman was going to give the cure to the Joker anyway, causing his last words to be utterly perfect.
That actually is pretty funny.
This was such a powerful death, as the Joker always seems to pop back, but this was an actual end. We see Batman carrying his lifeless body past his thugs and a heartbroken Harley to the police with perfect music. At the time, it was to be Mark Hamill's last performance as the Joker, and for me, as a fan of the animated series and the games, Mark Hamill is my Joker, the Joker. So this was a very emotional goodbye for me, and I don't usually say that about psychotic murderers.
As Gears of War 4 is coming out soon, I thought I'd include 2 from the franchise, and you know how I said Maria's death was the second saddest moment? Well, this is the saddest, and that is the death of Dom Santiago in Gears of War 3. Now, this death actually affected me because I always played as Dom, as I did the story with my brother, and it took me completely off guard. As Delta are getting completely overrun, Dom sees that there's only one way out and sacrifices himself by crashing the vehicle into the explosive truck to take out the Lambent. The whole scene is made harder by how Marcus reacts to losing Dom and even tries to get him out of the burning vehicle. I'll always remember Dom saying,
Never thought it would end like this, huh? Huh, Maria?
Now, there are more deaths in Telltale's The Walking Dead than there are selfies on Instagram. Like, there's a lot, and none of them are easy. Oh God, duck! Playing as Lee, we have to make many tough choices that affect not only how people treat you, but whether or not they die. Like, two people are about to get eaten alive by zombies and I have to choose which one to save. Oh God, this is too much pressure. Then there's Clementine. Sweet, adorable, brave little Clementine. You find her hidden in her treehouse. She saves your life by handing you a hammer so you can kill her undead babysitter. And after that, you do everything in your power to keep her safe and make sure she feels loved and protected. Everything you do and say affects your relationship with her, including how she treats Lee when he's bitten trying to save her. Yup, Lee dies, and depending on your final conversation choice, she'll either let you turn or end your suffering sooner at the precious cost of a bullet. What you say determines if a little girl will pull the trigger on a man she sees as a father, or if she'll watch him turn into a zombie in chains. Watching a child deciding how someone they love will die is something I never imagined seeing, and that's why it's stuck with so many players. So there are some of the deaths that we found hardest to take in video games. Benny, you alright?
Do you know what the worst thing? Okay, first he loses his wife, then he loses himself, Marcus, all his friends, everything. It's his voice. Do you know that really gets to me in that scene? Is his voice. It's like Marcus loses his best friend, right? Dom lost his wife, right? Then he dies sacrificing himself. It's a roller coaster ride.
There you go.
Like, it's the thing, right?
Just let it out.
I didn't see it coming.
It's okay, it's okay. Well, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Enjoyed is a weird word for this one, I will say. Subscribe for way more cool videos from us in future. And let us know down in the comments which deaths really, really hurt you the most in video games. See you next time. Bye. It's okay. It's okay, Benny. It's okay. It's okay.